Hi guys, welcome back to the Humble Gamer channel. I am the Humble Gamer and this is some more of my Sodor Snippets series. This is the Culdee Fell Mountain Railway, so you're probably wondering what on earth locomotive you're looking at here. You're actually looking at a carriage. That is an observation carriage from the Darjeeling and Himalayan light railway. If I jump up, there is our locomotive, Hawkeye, who is incidentally the locomotive I drove when I went around the world in 80 days. When I was in India, so please do check that out. But yes, we are here on Sodor. Just give you a brief show. Coincheanainn, which is this little town you see. Sorry for that's probably destroyed everything. Never mind. This is this little town you see before us. So yeah, again, this part is there's still work to do here, but fundamentally, I'm actually pretty happy with how Coincheanainn is looking. But without further ado, we're going to jump into Hawkeye. And that's a very, very odd camera angle. If you don't have the Darjeeling and Himalayan light railway stock, by the way, I'd recommend you get it. It is from UK Train Sim, so you will have to have an account. But I shall link it all in the description below. Please, please do have a go at it. It's really, really good. But our first stop will be Shiloh, which is not quite up the mountain, so I shall see you when we get to Shiloh. Yes, you join me at the tiny little station of Shiloh. Now, Shiloh is the last station really before we head into the mountains themselves. Now, as you can see, we're just here. Our next stop is Skarloey Road, and I'm probably going to talk to you for a fair bit of the journey from Shiloh up towards Skarloey Road to start with. Unfortunately, for those of you wondering, there is no passenger view inside this particular Darjeeling and Himalayan light railway carriage as we move away from Shiloh. Shiloh itself, by the way, as we move away, it is just a very small, quaint village. There's not a lot there apart from the church. Now, first of all, a couple of limitations with designing this particular part of the Sodor network. Obviously, we don't have rack and pinion track that I'm aware of from anybody. If anyone knows any different, please do let me know. We also don't have Snowdor. We also don't have Snowdorian mountain railway engines. Again, that I know of. So one of the reasons I picked the DHR locomotives to do this is because actually they are some of the strongest. Don't know whether it's true in real life, but certainly within Train Sim community, they're some of the strongest narrow gauge engines that I've got. And I have a small confession to make, but I will come to that later. As I show you the scenery as we start running up. It's currently 1 in 35, so we're certainly not at mountain railway gradients just yet. We don't need rack and pinion track for this bit. But yeah, I've tried to really get the feel of wilderness at a very high above sea level, and I think I've probably got it as we leave the forests below us. Yeah, if you look that way, it's kind of very foresty. That's fairly standard Sodor scenery. But if you look this way, you're starting to get into mountainous, rocky, not a huge amount of plant life or vegetation. In fact, the bushes abruptly stop, which is a little bit of a shame. Does that put the light on at the front of the carriage? If we do that? No, puts the light on the front of the locomotive, presumably, but that's not going to work. So it does need to be that one, but we won't do that anyway. So yes, as you can see, the speed limit is 25 miles an hour. I don't know what the speed limit is on the Snowdon Mountain Railway. I should probably have researched that. But that's the speed limit, anyway, that we're running to. So yeah, if anyone knows of mountain railway stock and track that's been made, or if anyone is, again, a freelance developer and planning to make it, please let me know. I don't think it'll be able to be made outside the confines of a big studio, but I mean, don't get me wrong, you could probably make a rack and pinion look for track. That, I imagine, would be not fairly easy, otherwise I could do it and I can't do it. But I imagine that's the easy bit, making it look like rack and pinion, but adding the physics in. And again, the same with the sort of Swiss locomotives that the Snowdon Mountain Railway uses. As far as I'm aware, there are no such things for train sim at the moment. The moment that changes, this whole route will change again, and it will become a proper mountain railway. But at the moment, that is not a thing. So that's why I've chosen the DHLR locomotives. And as you can see, 1 in 35, I'm having to hold it back so it stays at 25 mph. Let's put some coal in its belly, shall we? Also, I didn't get a lot of chance to show this off in 80 days from when I used it, but the locomotives are really, really awesome. I hadn't spotted that little sign. Is your signal clear? Have you the correct authority to proceed? Yeah, there are no signals at the moment. But they're really well-made little locomotives, actually. They're really well put together. I would recommend them to anybody that enjoys their narrow gauge stuff. In fact, the route itself is very, very good. I just didn't drive it very well. If you don't know Around the World in 80 Days, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't mean the Jules Verne novel. If you don't know what I'm talking about in terms of this channel, there's a link in the description to it. Go and have a watch of the series. It's frustrating at times to watch. It was very frustrating to do. Now this is Polney Crink. Is this one Polney Crink, or is there a bigger one? Yeah, the bigger one. That big one over there. This one here. This is Polney Crink. I think it's Polney Crink. My map is up there again. I've forgotten to get it out. But oh, we're speeding. Don't like it when we're speeding. Let's just get rid of that for a second and let's just have a look at this loco push its way up. I'm trying to run this as prototypically as possible, obviously, you know, without the original stock and stuff, but yeah, you'd only really ever have one carriage facing forwards. I mean, actually, in terms of what I'm using them for, i.e. replacement Swiss mountain railway locomotives, these have pretty much got everything, because you've got an observation coach that you can put at the front, and you've got the second cab view out the back, so you can see properly what's going on and control your descent. I've never run this route downwards, by the way, and we'll come to that in a second as well. We're now reaching Scarlowy Road. Which is another stop. And then after that, I think we've only got 2 stops left after Scarlowy Road. Right, okay, at this point we're going to start putting some water into the boiler as well. We've got the excess pressure, we might as well use it. But yeah, not only do these little locos, this one particular called Hawkeye, have the look of everything, but they've got the strength and the endurance needed to be a mountain railway engine. And I've got to say, actually, I don't run this bit of the route a lot, because obviously I'm at the moment focusing on the standard gauge Sodor stuff, but my god, they really do a job pretty well, actually. They really do a job pretty well. Yeah, this is now starting to feel... This actually, scenery-wise, is one of the easier bits of the route, because you're going up a mountain, there's not a fat lot of scenery. Make it look a bit rocky and desolate, which I think I'm managing to capture. Like I said, this is still work in progress. But yeah, so like I say, if anyone does know of any mountain railway stock, actual mountain railway stock, it doesn't have to necessarily be the Snowdon Mountain Railway, just as long as it's a proper mountain railway somewhere. But then again, some of the gradients on the Darjeeling and Himalayan would put it towards mountain railway territory. Yeah, As you can see, mostly all I've done here is paint. Polney Crink, yes, that will need some more vegetation around it. That needs a bit more decoration, but not too much. As we approach Scar Lowy Road, now I've forgotten how much work I've done on this. Oh no, I've done most of the work. Okay, that's good. I can handle that. Apart from that one little bit of terraforming there to make the land match the track, and this is where we can close the fire down now. Now we can coast into Scarlowy Road Station before on the one in 121, which I'm not sure counts as a gradient on a mountain railway. Yeah, Scarlowy Road is basically, it's just a station, but there's nothing much on the map. I am attempting to make it a bit more of a sort of holiday camp-esque, a bit like Casney Harwin on the Scarlowy Railway. I'm going to overshoot again. I'm crap at driving these little locomotives. There we go, I'll just have to do that. And, yeah. Escargeliog. I think. I'm sure that's pronounced badly, but never mind. That is obviously nicked from the Corris Railway, which again you can find. But yes, so now we're at Shiloh. No. Now we're at Scarlowy Road. Yes, all we've got to do now is climb up to Devil's Back, and then towards Culdee Fell Summit. I will give you my confession as we reach Devil's Back. Until then, I shall allow you to enjoy the ride, so they speak. So yes, you join me now. We are on the approach to Devil's Back. We're not that far away at all in the grand scheme of things. There's Devil's Back. We're going to go to Devil's Back up, and as you can see, 1 in 26 we're doing now. That's what we're climbing at. And with the correct use of regulator and reverser, I am accelerating. Now, as we approach Devil's Back, there is a confession I have, as I mentioned earlier, and I want to get the confession out of the way. In its current formation, I have not made it to the top of this mountain. I have not tested these on the final climb, because the final climb includes sections that are 1 in 9. So I don't know, as of now, whether you are going to see the entirety of this route or just the lowland bits up as far as Devil's Back. I don't know. Which is bad of me. I wholly admit that is bad of me. I probably should have checked that out before. But it will be worth it if this locomotive can make it up. This is also kind of a test to see if the DHR locomotives can make it up. Because if they can, they are the ones I shall be using for the Culdee Fell Mountain Railway in the near future. Now, this is where actually going uphill does help. Turn those on. Whack some of that in, whack some of that in. Full bit of regulator just to get us up the final bit of the hill. Pull that reverser back and then turn that off. Close the regulator. Those of you that do route building on train sim, you'll notice there are an awful lot of milk bottles everywhere, particularly on this bit of the route. That's because the original stuff I used for this was an awful lot of... Put the handbrakes on. An awful lot of Tallyclin Railway stock, which I do still have the Tallyclin Railway stock. Well, actually no, I don't. I used to have it. Unfortunately, I have lost my CD, which means I'm going to have to buy another one from Steve Pontin. But it's totally worth it, and I shall link that down in the description below as well. That's why I've had to replace this. It's actually from one of the South African routes. But yes, this is Devil's Back. Now, Devil's Back is the terminus in bad weather. It's also, there's a story in the Reverend Awdry's book Mountain Engines. It's actually the final story where number 6, or Lord Harry, spoilers, he has to go up it, and it talks about, this is what it says about the Devil's Back, which is incidentally that thing that we're about to go up. That thing right in front of us, that is the Devil's Back, which I've actually captured pretty well. I'm quite happy with that. I think that was not identical, but you know, it certainly gets the feel of it. Anyway, this is what the Reverend Awdry had to say about the Devil's Back. A mile below summit, the line runs along a rocky ridge. Always there is wind. Sometimes this is gentle. At other times, it is fierce and very dangerous. Then, all passenger trains stop at Devil's Back Station. But whatever the weather, stores trains and rescue trains must get through. And that's what we're about to go up. Fortunately, we've got good weather. And also, fortunately, train sim doesn't tend to put too much effect of the weather. I think we can release those because we are now... We're now on our brakes anyway, but yeah. So the thing is about Devil's Back Station, it's just a station. There'll be a little visitor centre in there. I'm still going to do a bit more work to it, but primarily it's just a station. There's no major thing to tell you about. I think it looks quite nice though. But for this final ascent, we are going to be together. We're going to do this together. Right. Put those onto running and self-lapped. Sound the whistle. Away we go. Take that final handbrake off. Get rid of that so you can watch the gradients in the bottom. 1 in 5,000 at the moment. But that's because we're on a relatively flat bit. The first gradient we hit is 1 in 25. The speed limit is 10, mainly for engines coming down, but also for engines going up as well. Put the sanding on, because we're now at 1 in 15. I still don't know. I think this probably has the power to make it. But I don't know. It's only got a light load. As you can see, I've had to weave the track up to the summit a little bit because the original route had 1 in 6, which was too much without a rack and pinion. I was being a bit over ambitious there. You can see the original route actually. So where that track bed goes, it goes up there. That's the original route, but we're not going that way, we're going the new route. At now 1 in 14. Which I'm having to give her a lot more push to get up, unsurprisingly. I'm going to be very happy if this works, because like I said at the start of this video, I don't know. Obviously now that you guys are seeing it, I know whether it works or not, but you don't know, and at this point I don't know either. Need to use the reverser as well. Come on, Humble, there we go, there we go. Now it flattens out a little bit here, to give the engines time to recover and to also help descending engines slow. I think it's straight back into the 1 in 14s. I say it flattens out, it's 1 in 135. Steep gradient on any other railway. On this it's practically flat, 1 in 20. Okay, too much throttle. So these will definitely make it, I reckon. Mind you, 1 in 20 is very different to 1 in 9. There we go, 1 in 15. As we come to the unpainted bit of scenery. mean, just imagine. This is a normal locomotive, by the way. Like I said, this is not a rack and pin. This has not been specially adapted by me to do this route. I have picked this straight up off the shelf, as they were, out of the box, as people say. 1 in 13, and we are rocking and rolling. Now have to go into the 50% of throttle. Need to adjust that bit of, need to smooth that bit of mountainside. 1 in 15 still. God blimey, this is arduous. This is tough. And I like that it's tough. I really like that it's tough. But like I say, all the progress so far is with the caveat that we may not make it up. Please do bear that in mind. I can't guarantee we will make it up this mountain to the top. Already into the high 50s on throttle at 1 in 15. Turn those off. We don't need the cocks open. Oh, we're actually speeding. Okay, cool. That's fine. I mean, it's not fine because there's some very sharp curves on this bit. Where I've had to realign the track. Mind you, 1 in 15, we're still pretty, it's actually reasonably level as far as this railway is concerned. Okay, this is where it gets properly steep in a second. Don't need any more coal. 1 in 16. Ah, apparently I'm going through a rock. How joyful. Absolutely joyful. 1 in 14. Here we go. Now you're going to hear the engine working. Don't want it to work that hard though. Because I'm pretty sure once we go through this rock, apologies for that bit of scenery. 1 in 15. I will adjust that, obviously. I think this is where we hit 1 in 9. I think it's just this little bit here where we hit 1 in 9. Yep, 1 in 9. There we go. Now, come on. Come on, Hawkeye, this is your audition. 1 in 8. And he's holding his speed. I'm relieved at that. I now have locomotives confirmed for all the other stuff I do on the Culdee Fell Railway, because that's the toughest bit of the climb. I'm not even going to try and go downhill. Or do we? Do we finish off by going downhill? No, you've seen enough, I think, already. I'm already outstaying my welcome. If you want to see it, let me know in the comments, and I shall do a special going downhill video. Excuse me. Okay, right, we can close the water off now. We close that off as well, because now we are going to reach Culdee Fell summit. I haven't been up. I haven't actually made it this far, apart from when I was building the thing. I haven't actually been here in about 2 years. Not travelled by train in about 2 years. There we go, 1 in 32. That'll be enough. We can now start slowing because we are, as they say, here at Culdee Fell. So obviously the railway doesn't go to the exact summit of the mountain. As you can see, yes, there's the milk bottles from the missing scenery items. As we pull to a stop, and we are definitely putting the handbrakes on everything here. There we go. But yes, so we've made it to the summit of Culdee Fell. the highest point on Sodor. Now, when you leave here, you obviously got a few workmen's sheds. There will be another siding there as well, I think, at some point. Actually, no, that is the siding. There doesn't need to be any more. Obviously, got a nice Swiss chalet style decor here. Obviously, a fence because you just sort of drop off the edge of the mountain. But you can climb. You can climb up here. If I get rid of that, because we don't need that anymore, you can climb up here and follow this path, which takes you to, there will be steps up to the actual summit of the Culdee Fell Mountain. I can't remember what that's from. That might be from the Weardale and Teesvale. You can see Devil's Back down there. That's Devil's Back Station. That's the Devil's Back route that has just taken us, give or take, 8 minutes to climb by train. If you're looking that way, you're looking vaguely towards Mícheál. Obviously, there's not much scenery because there's no point. Looking that way, you're looking towards the mainland. Looking that way, you're looking towards Brendam. That way, you're looking towards Tidmouth, Knapford, and all the rest of it. And we were all brought up here by this very willing locomotive Hawkeye from the Darjeeling and Himalayan Light Railway with its appropriately named carriage of Everest. So that is where we'll leave it for today. Like I said, if you want to see me do the downhill run, I won't be commentating on that one. but I shall just do the downhill run, probably from here with the cab view, because that'd be quite an interesting view, I reckon. But either way, thank you ever so much for watching. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, please do like and subscribe. Check out the game Train Simulator, obviously, in the description below. Check out the rest of my Sodor Snippets playlist in the description below. Check out the other train sim playlist I've done as well in the description below. Also check out the Darjeeling Himalayan Light Railway stock on UK Train Sim. Check that out in the description down below as well. It's absolutely awesome and it's well worth a look. So thank you ever so much for watching. I was me, that was my Sodor route on Train Simulator as we enter the Culdee Fell Mountain Railway. See you very soon, guys. Goodbye. We're about 2.5 miles away from Darjeeling, our final destination down the bottom of the hill. We are just about managing to keep the train on the rails. It's a lovely route, this. One I want to travel on very much in real life, and I'm very, very glad I got the chance to do even just this version for this video. But it's been an amazing journey so far, and you get to see some wonderful stuff. But yeah, so we've got to hurry on down.